What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is my 1990 Nissan 240SX with LS twin turbo swap in it, and it is a T56 manual car. And the last time you guys saw it, we put the 9-inch rear end from Matthew Smith at Performance Fab, and we basically needed to get a fuel cell in it, put a third member in it, get the brakes working, get line lock in, a whole bunch of stuff. So in this video, we're gonna go over all of that from the rear end, getting it to a running driving condition so that we can finally take it down the track. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Got the old 240 here, working on the 9-inch rear end. We got a third member for it. This one is slightly used, but it is a strange rear end, 370 gear, spool in it, and 35 spline axles. So Fowler is working on getting the wheels off, and then we are gonna slap this thing in there, and should be good to go. Guys, a little look. We got dual strange calipers. We were gonna do the handbrake setup, you can see in there, onto a single set of rears, but we might plumb it all together so we can hold the entire car. So maybe I bought these for no reason, spent the extra money, but we'll have extra stopping power either way. So 4 brakes on the rear. All right, one axle is removed. See it all there. I was working on the last one. So we've got the third member in. Gonna let the silicone dry. We'll work on getting the brakes and everything put back on. Looking pretty good so far. Alrighty guys, so we'll give you a quick view underneath. I am not proud of the frame rails under here, but that is the way 240s are. But just wanted to show you guys at least. Here's the rear end. They put drive shaft hoop, which is part of the IDS kit. So the whole front of it is, and then we modified the back of it a little bit so that it would fit. This way they cut off each side so that now the pumpkin can go up higher into the subframe, I guess, there. Also added a second drive shaft hoop up here, and then we tied in the cage all the way to the back to the subframe, so everything's tied in, and then also to the points of the cage. So all that is looking good. We got the new fuel lines running in, and to the back where we mounted our fuel pump, I gotta rewire everything and kind of get it back together. Both of our fuel filters on there. Sump tank from Matthew Smith, all bolted in, looking good. So we're gonna get it back over to the house, do a few other things, and then hopefully Matthew Smith will be able to help us dial in this guy back here, since we have no idea how to do that. So. Alrighty guys, so excuse the car for being extremely dirty. We're working on it. We have got to get the injectors back in. We'll show you this in a second. Do want to show you we got a new seat mounted in it, and this is mounted much lower in the car. Seating position is much better. There's our e-brake setup. I don't know if I showed it to you yet, but having the seat sit a little bit lower and back further is going to make driving it much easier. So that's looking good. We got the fuel pump wiring over there. We got to set that back up, set up the battery and that kind of thing. Paint this because this will rust. And then, what else? Let's go over this real quick. So we put a line lock in here so that we can lock the fronts for a burnout. Now that we have the 4 calipers in the rear, we try and do a burnout with just the regular brakes. Probably won't work so well with all that stopping power in the rear. So we're gonna hook up a line lock, and I'm gonna hook that up to the button that is on the steering wheel. So I'll be able to press that and hold it with the front brakes locked, do the burnout, let go, be good there. So that button used to be the 2-step button. We're gonna change that and move that over here. I clean this up. Sorry, it's a mess while working on it, but we're gonna move the 2-step button over to the actual e-brake here. So we'll put a little bracket off that way, and a switch on there. So when I pull this back, the switch will activate, and as I'm sitting on the line holding this, we'll have the 2-step, and then as soon as I let go, 2-step goes off and we take off. So after we get the line lock all set up, we'll get a bracket going for that. So real quick over here, we have the Chase Bays brake booster delete. It's kind of hard to show you, but this valve here is your proportioning valve for the rear. So let's see, we come out the master around to this T down here. So that one goes to the right front, that one goes to the left front, comes up, or let's see, it goes in right there into your proportioning valve, and then that goes to your rear. So I'm gonna tie in right here, come up into the solenoid here, then we'll come back out the solenoid and hook back up into that T, so that we'll have brakes when we're not engaged, and then we can also lock the front and it will not lock the rear. So the rears will be unlocked is hopefully the theory. So let's get to work on that. Guys, bright and early, we took the car out to Performance Fab, and they are getting the basically scaling the car and getting the rear end all aligned. Super early, so I look super tired, but yeah, Brandon's under there getting everything, taking a bunch of measurements, getting this all set up, so we'll go nice and straight down the track. Car all put up there, looking good. Might as well get this part of the video. We are struggling with these brakes. We cannot get these new dual calipers with the inline handbrake setup to bleed at all. So we're resorting at this point to bleeding the master cylinder again. Hair's looking real big today, but that was the first thing it said on Chase Bay's troubleshooting. So we have a line put on the outlet, and then we're gonna put it back in there, and we're gonna pump it a bunch of times. That supposedly bleeds the master, so we're gonna try that first. All right, so the 240 is still in a very sad state. I talked to Chase Bay's, and they sent me out a new master. We just rebled it. Still no. At this point, we're not really sure what to do. Only thing from here is we figure we'll take the, inline hydro and make it its own separate unit instead of, all as one. So right now, hydro is pulling on both of the rear brakes, both sets, and we'll separate it so that's a completely different system, and it'll run off of one set of calipers. That's all we can think to do right now because the pedal is still super squishy. We've bled this thing 100 times. Can't get the air out of it. I don't know what's wrong with it. The setup's not right, or we're gonna find something else is wrong. But currently, brakes suck, so therefore can't go fast without any brakes. So we're gonna have to keep going after it. We'll try and separate them real quick and just run a jumper line, see if they work then. If not, not sure what we're gonna do.
Alrighty. Eric, what are we doing, man?
Well, we finally got the brakes going, and we got our bracket on the handbrake, so we're gonna test out the two-step. So looking here, we got a little clutch switch on there. When we pull this back, pull this back, hopefully that will engage the two-step, and as soon as I let go, two-step comes off and launch. So I'm gonna get the mild tune downloaded, and then we'll roll it out and give it a test.
Nice. All right, gonna give her a little test startup. Make sure all cylinders are firing as they should be. A little warm up and give a little two-step check.
Took a minute to fire up. It's a little cold out, so. Guys, so we have finally gotten all the brakes straightened out. We got the two-step working. I do think that there's a little bit of a vacuum leak, so I'm going to address that this week, figure out what's going on with that. We'll drive it around the block, make sure everything's kind of good with that, make sure it'll do a little bit of a hit, give Dillard a log to go off of, and then this Thursday we'll go down to Greer and do a couple test hits. So we'll probably get our 60 foots in, see if the car goes straight, and basically get this rear end dialed in on our 60 foot before we run it out for a full 8th mile pass. So that'll be this week. Hope you guys enjoyed going through from the rear end installation to everything else that we need to get going to get the car back up and going. So excited that it's running, excited that it finally moved under its own power in, must have been a year. So Appreciate you guys following along with this, and we will have a video out this week of it going down the track. So stay tuned for that. See ya.